Hey everyone, Jeff Rappaport coming with another video. Going to do some deal structuring today. All right, so this is our Podio. This is one of our leads. And so the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to gather all the information and put it in one place. That way I've got everything I need. So I'm going to write the address down. This is a fourplex, I believe. Fourplex. I think they're 3-bedroom, 2.5 units. They've got garages. So total is 6,396 square feet. So about 1,600 each one. They were built in 2016. They still owe $425,000 total. $2,700 a month. I'm assuming that's PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. They're asking $860,000 total, and they collect $1,375 per unit. They're all separately metered. They pay $179 HOA fee, and their taxes are $4,777. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, which has already been done, is go to our tax records and look this up. Which is super simple. All right, now we're going to just find the address. Hopefully they're on here. There we go. All right, and so it's 0.07 of an acre. There's the taxes. 6,396 square feet. Number of bedrooms. Well, that seems okay. 12. There's a bunch of garages. I think there's 2 2-car and 2 1-car. And we're going to look at when it was on the MLS. So these are brand new. This was on in June. They were asking $855, so they've raised the price. It was only on the market for 10 days. All right. Okay, so let's go. Well, actually, let's go to. I'll bring up a template and we'll put together some offers. So basically what I've got is a bunch of, I keep track of all of my offers, and so I'm just going to pull one up that will hopefully be something similar. So I already know based on how much money is owed on it. Well, why don't we work through a couple of calculations first. So let's think about what all the expenses are. So right now we know that a month, and you can figure out this per month or per year, doesn't really matter. You have $4,777 taxes divided by 12, which is about $400 a month. You have an HOA fee of $179. You've got a debt service, so you have an underlying mortgage, $2,700 a month. I assume that these are going to be townhomes, so you may be able to give away the water, sewer, garbage, but let's just put an estimate in there of, let's say, 125, and insurance, let's call it 75. And that's pretty much it. We could always put in property management, but as long as it's 4 units and less, I'm not going to worry about it. I may try to find some other ways to account for that. But so we have expenses of 579, 2,700, and 200. So we're at $3,479 expenses, and we have income of 1,375 times 4 is $5,500. If we minus 3,479 from 55, we have exactly $2,021 to split up between the seller and either us or our buyer. Okay, so now let's look for a template, and we'll quickly put together some offers. Let's see. Um, all right. Let's see how I can. All right. I'm trying to just move my template over, but I'm having a hard time doing so. So we won't worry about it yet. All right. So in our LOI, we'll put the address. Okay. And typically, my first offer is owner finance, contract for deed, or trust deed and note, and it's going to be my hybrid offer, which is, so we're going to look at what a realistic price is going to be for this. So since these are separate units, so right now they're at $215,000 a piece. That rent for $1,375 each. I don't love that. They're asking a lot of money, but we might be able to work out something where it would make sense. Let's see. So first of all, let's look at a quick calculation. So if we took 860,000 and we took 20% of that, which would be 688,000, and we entered it into our calculator as present value, and just take a 4% interest rate and amortize it over 30 months, so 360 months, 30 years. Solve for payment. Your payment would be 3284 right there, and then we would still have to add in all those other expenses, obviously minus the debt. So it's about an extra $600 difference between the underlying debt and this debt. So we'd be at about $4,000, and that would leave us about $1,500 in cash flow, give or take. If we then take 1,500 and we multiply it by 12, which is 12 months, we have 18,000, and we had to put down, we figured out 20%, which was 178,000. So if we take 18,000 and we divide it by 178,000, we're at a 10.1% cash on cash return. Not awesome, not terrible, but we're in the realm. So why don't we figure, let's see if we can entice this seller. So let's offer him his kind of ridiculous offer here of $860,000. And let's offer him $75,000 down, which is more than I normally would like. If you've ever heard me speak before, we want to try to get in light, but this is going to be a wholesale deal for us. Well, I know this already, and there are people that are looking for multifamily, especially in Utah, that can't find anything that will work. So if they're at 10%, 15% down, that's still better than the 20% that they'd have to do if they got conventional financing. So I'm just going to start playing with some numbers. So we have an $860,000 purchase price, and I picked $75,000 down payment. That would be $785,000 principal value. $785,000. I'm going to take my 2.5% interest, simple interest, and I'm going to figure out where it takes us for 3 years, 36 months. So all I do is I put into my calculator, and you can use one online, you can use the old school ones, but you just enter in 785,000 present value, 2.5% as interest. In this case, you're just putting in the term, so 36 as N, and instead of solving for payment, um, we're going to put in what we want the payment to be. So we want to give the seller, let's say, we have $2,021 to work with. If we left an $800 a month cash flow, that would be almost $10,000. I think we could probably make that work. But let's even call it, let's do like 1,100 to the seller. So we're going to offer the seller, remember we added up all of our expenses. So the seller's debt is 2,700 plus we're going to offer the seller another $1,000, 3,800. Why don't we do that? Let's do 3,800 and see where it takes us. Okay, so now we're just going to enter in 3,800, 3,800 as a negative, put minus, press payment, and now solve for future value. And now, so this will pay down in 3 years from 785 down to 704 at that payment. What that tells me is that's good, because what I'm trying to do is make sure that our buyer is at 80% loan to value or better, because they're paying a pretty high price for this property. All right, so let's see if these numbers work. All right, so I'm just filling in my template. Now I'm gonna let them know what they're going to gross. Now, in this case, they're not making that much money, but hey, we do what we can do on this one. So we're going to take the 3,800 that we offered times 36. It's 136,800 plus the down payment, 75,000, plus the balloon payment, which is 704,165. So they end up grossing over 3 years 915,965 for the property. Now, granted, they're only making about $1,000 a month, or maybe 1,100 a month, but they also getting 75,000 down and another 704,000. All right, so now let's move on to option 2, and we'll see how these all compare in a second. So option 2 usually for me is, again, if I went contract for deed in the first one, I'm going to again. And this one is going to be more of a conventional sale. So I'm going to come in a little lower than the 860, and we'll just see where this takes us. I want to come in with a little higher down payment. So let's say $85,000. So that's right around 10%. But before we do, let's figure out where that payment will be. Because if the payment doesn't work, we're offering something we don't really want to offer. So 840 minus 85,000 is $755,000. That becomes $755,000. That's our present value. Let's say that we're offering 4% amortized over 30 years. Put in 360 as an N, and we solve for the payment. Payment comes out to be $3,604. That works. We could probably even up the price just a bit. So why don't we come in at $850 minus 800, or $850 minus 85,000, $765 at 4%. Our payment is $3,652. So really what I'm trying to do is find offers that are going to work around the payments that we want. So this is $3,652. We already offered $3,800 on the first one, but this one we're going to go longer. We definitely want to be clear that we're also paying the taxes. So if those taxes are escrowed into the seller's payment, which is almost $400 a month, that they're going to get $3,800 or $3,652 plus $400 more a month. So that will help. I think this one we're going to go 7 years. So you could have done it 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I mean, you can do whatever term that you like. I'm just thinking that they may like this one. This one's going to show even a bigger gross to the seller, and my buyers will certainly like a longer term on this type of property. So if I do a 7-year term, my balloon payment becomes $658,354. So now let's figure out what the seller will gross. We want to make sure that they're going to make more on this one. We got to give them a reason to look at carrying the loan longer. $3,652, which is the monthly payment, times 84 months, which is 7 years. That's $306,768 plus $658, $354. That's the balloon payment plus $85,000. That is a total of $1,050,122 over a 7-year period. That is significant. Is it enough to get the seller to look at that one? Probably not. It's like $135,000 for 4 more years of carrying the contract. That's probably only an extra, what, 30, 35? It might be. I think, so we have no short-term finance offer. That's not going to help us on this one. There's no reason to make a cash offer. They're asking full retail. We would have to be significantly less. It's just not going to happen. And the real question is, could we make a subordination offer? And I really don't think we can. We'd have to cash out that $425,000. If we borrowed, let's say $500,000 at 8%, simple interest, we're already at $3,300. No. So we only have 2 offers on this property, but we're in the running. That this is something that could work. So we put together our LOI. We're going to submit it. We're going to make an offer. And we'll see what the seller comes back with. They'll either accept one, reject, or come back and counter. We'll see where it takes us. Appreciate it. Hope this was helpful. Talk to you soon.